Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another masterclass. Today, because we are in the summer months, the summer period, and lots of people are going away, lots of people are going on holiday, we're going to focus on some of those words that are a little bit more difficult when you are talking about holidays and you need to describe something related to your holiday to somebody else. And we picked out a few words that are a little bit tricky, can cause you to trip up sometimes. And so we're going to be discussing those quickly now and then giving you a challenge. So as usual, Alistair is here with me. Hi, Alistair.
Hi, Daniel. Of course, we should say summer here in Europe, because
that's true.
We have a lot of
absolutely. That's
a lot
true.
of our members are in Latin America, and of course they're
absolutely.
Well, depending where you are in Latin America. But if you're below the equator, our people in places like Argentina is winter.
That's right. Absolutely.
As was mentioned the other day.
That's right.
How cold it was, and then suddenly it was very hot.
Yeah, that was Florencio. Florencio, he said
it's ridiculous. He said winter, it's 25 degrees. That's right. Climate change. It's what's going on.
Absolutely.
So, but of course, we're talking from our perspective in Spain, in Europe, that it's our summer, and everyone's going off on holiday, including me, tomorrow, in fact.
So, yeah, good. Yeah. Yeah, good. Well, those people who live in the southern hemisphere, I suppose, would it be? We'll have to think about their winter holidays instead. Yeah. Presumably they get some winter holiday instead. So
maybe they go somewhere warm to the Caribbean or somewhere to escape Argentina's cold. Go off to I don't know where, somewhere warm, Costa Rica or something.
Yeah. So we're going to cover 4 words, aren't we, here, Alistair? Just because they do cause some issues. They are a little bit more difficult to remember, but they are vital if you're going to be talking about your holidays in general, right? So the first one, let's go with the first one that we've written down, which is abroad. Yeah.
Abroad.
Yeah, abroad.
El extranjero. So obviously anywhere not in your country for you is abroad. It's all from your perspective, of course.
Yeah.
So, from somebody in Argentina, we are abroad, but for us, they're abroad. So, just not in your country. So the rest of the world outside your own country is abroad. So you can say, I'm going abroad. I'm taking my holidays abroad this year. I'm going abroad for my holidays this year.
Yeah, and it's a useful one to know because you can say, okay, the last time I went abroad was a few years ago, or it's just like gets across that meaning very quickly, right? It's like not in your country. You had to go to another country to be abroad. So and
so you have holidays at home, domestic holidays in your own country.
That's right.
But some people like to go abroad, or now and again they want to go abroad for something different. See a different culture, different food. Something that isn't their own country, So it's nice to travel. It's people who love traveling abroad. Others are not so interested and quite happy staying at home, taking their holidays in their own country. Depends, no?
Yeah, I think the United States is a good example of that, right?
Yeah,
I think there's a
don't even have a passport. I think
that's right.
60% of the population.
Yeah. I mean, it is a big country, I have to say. We have to.
It's difficult to generalize about such a huge country.
Yeah, but most Americans, from the statistics, show that. They do not go abroad most of the time. They have domestic holidays, don't they?
Yeah.
So,
and it's a huge, such a variation of climates and landscapes that I suppose if you live in New York and you go off to Arizona or California, it's New Mexico. It is sort of feels like going abroad almost.
Yeah, absolutely, because the weather,
the same language, but
the
weather, the climate, the landscape, completely different.
Absolutely.
Traveling on a plane for maybe 5 or 6 hours, or 7 hours to get
that's right
to another part. It's hard for us to imagine coming from Europe in small countries.
That's right.
You could take a flight of 6-7 hours and still be in the same country. It's just unthinkable.
It is. Yeah, good. So that's the first word, abroad. Just to practice that and to get used to it. As usual, it's all about that. So that's the first one. I don't many sort of Spanish speakers or clients that I've had, they can't use that very, very fluently, or it doesn't come easily, let's say, abroad. Higher level clients use it more. But I have to say that if I hear somebody using that word, then I'm kind of impressed to a certain degree.
They might say, I'm going out of Spain, I'm going to another country.
There's an alternative, right?
Some other way of saying the same thing, but it's nice having that abroad, one word, and you're going abroad. Okay, I understand. Where are you going? To Germany or USA or wherever it may be.
Exactly.
So I suppose I'm going abroad because I'm going to England, but as I am British from England, it's strange for me. I don't think of England as abroad.
Yeah, sure.
Obviously,
Sure,
it
sure.
is from because I live in Spain, but
That's right.
as it's my
That's right.
country, it's hard to think of that as being abroad.
Exactly. Good. The next one is a classic, isn't it, Alistair? The trip travel situation.
Yeah.
Now, this
Very
one
common
will
mistake.
always come back to haunt us in some way or form, and certainly
License.
come back to haunt us as teachers, but also haunt our clients, right? Because it's so difficult it's very easy to just fall into the trap and say a travel, right? Instead of saying a trip. A travel should be used in verb form. And so you can use travel.
In Spanish is viajar and the noun is un viaje.
Yeah.
So the noun comes from the verb, which is quite logical. But in English, for some reason, I don't know why, we don't. So to travel is a verb, but we don't say a travel. So we just don't use it as a noun. So we use another word now, a trip.
A trip. Yeah.
So you're going on a trip or a business trip or you're going on a trip abroad. So a trip. You can use travel as an adjective, strangely. So you can talk about a travel book, a travel novel, a travel guide, travel magazine, a travel experience you've had. So there you're using the noun. Well, you're using travel as an adjective.
As an adjective, yeah.
But so it's a verb, it's an adjective, but it's not a noun. So it's a trip. No, I'm going on a business trip to Germany next week.
Yeah. So there are lots of little trip ups here. So it's kind of going to be about storytelling.
Using trip in a different way.
Yeah.
Because to trip is tropezar, no, it's to fall over.
That's right. Yeah.
But for some reason, I think we have mentioned this before, but it's worth mentioning again that you can make a joke, does it with a double meaning, doble sentido. So if you're walking with somebody in the street and they trip over something and they fall, you say, "Oh, did you enjoy your trip?
Oh yeah,
or did you have a nice trip?" Because it's got that double meaning of tropezar, caerse, y viaje.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
People go, ha ha ha, very funny.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, of course. And the third word is foreign. Again, a word that I don't hear very often from my clients. Just because I think partly because they look at the word and think, "Oh my goodness, how do you pronounce that?"
Well, it's different. The way you see it written to say it. No? Foreign.
And then sometimes the problem is that they do know the word, they've seen the word, they've seen how it's spelt, and then they pronounce it incorrectly.
Yeah.
And so they go for the G, which is kind of, so they say foreign or something like that. They kind of like...
Yeah, there's a silent G there in the middle.
There's a silent G there. So
just to make it difficult. I think it's also complicated because in Spanish, you've got the same word and we'd have different words. So in Spanish, el extranjero is abroad. And then extranjero is an adjective. So I know un coche extranjero would be a foreign car. So we've got a different word when you use extranjero as an adjective to describe a foreign language. Un idioma extranjero is a foreign language. So abroad is the place. The adjective to describe something that comes from abroad, not from the country, is foreign.
Foreign, yeah.
And then un extranjero is a person.
Yeah.
So in English, we have another word, a foreigner. Well, it's the same word, but you add ER at the end. So foreign is the adjective. So you could say a foreign person is a foreigner. And then where you go out of your country is, you could say I'm traveling to a foreign country.
You can, which basically means abroad, doesn't it? Yeah.
Which is abroad.
Yeah.
So if someone says, I'm going to a foreign country, I'd say, oh, so you're going abroad. But then in Spanish, you've got three words. No, in Spanish, you have one word that you can use in those three contexts.
Yeah.
But that can also maybe cause problems with translating it into English. You need three words in English, or at least two words, one of them slightly adapted.
Yeah.
The foreigner for the person.
Yeah. And the last bit, the last one was related to a preposition, right, Alistair?
It's a basic thing that I do here. So it's to go or to be on holiday. So it's estar de vacaciones, ir de. So Spanish people often say of, because de. So they say to go of holidays, to be of holidays, or in holidays is another mistake. Yeah. And it's neither of nor in.
Yeah.
So it's to be, I am on holiday at the moment, or I'm going on holiday tomorrow.
Yeah.
Abroad, which is true in my case.
Yeah.
So just to get that preposition correct.
Yeah.
Important.
Good. So the challenge is Well, quite a simple one in many ways, but simple but complex, and that's the key point here. You might say, "Well, that's all easy, Daniel and Alistair. Come on, that's pretty easy."
Yeah, we know
but,
those words. It's not too difficult.
Yeah, but it's bringing it all together in an interesting story and not falling into the traps of those different words, right? And
which
using them
sometimes
nicely.
can happen easily when you're talking.
Yeah,
You know them
absolutely.
maybe, but then you don't use them correctly when you're speaking.
That's right. Exactly.
So tell an anecdote. This is a good one for storytelling. No?
Yeah.
Give us a nice little story. Could be in the past, could be in the present, could be in the future. So it could be where you went on holiday.
Yeah.
When you went abroad, you traveled to a foreign country. You're going on holiday this month, next week, whenever.
Yep.
To abroad. So tell some story about a holiday abroad.
Yeah.
Where you travel to a foreign country, past, present, or future, whichever you prefer.
And before we start recording, Alistair, you also mentioned that maybe a part of the challenge could be, if people want to, also, they could even go to, if they feel that that's a little bit easy, they could actually also give us a story about how they felt being a foreigner abroad, right?
Yeah, because of course, when you're in your own country, you're not the foreigner. It's the other people coming from abroad who are the foreigners.
Yes.
But when you go abroad, you are the foreigner.
Exactly.
In a foreign land.
Yeah.
So, maybe it could be a bit more interesting story, perhaps a bit more difficult. Think of, have you had, some bad experiences being a foreigner where you felt you've been treated like a foreigner in a negative way or a positive way? You may say, certain countries you visited, you feel accept foreigners better and treat foreigners better or worse. So some anecdote about how it felt being a foreigner and how you were treated by the locals when you were abroad in a foreign country. So you get a different perspective, no? How a foreigner feels, because you are suddenly a foreigner. So that's another possibility.
That's a nice one, as well. Whatever story comes to your mind, and obviously we'll do these in the sessions as well. You can record yourself, which is good if you have some time.
Please record yourself.
Do that. Videos. Do that. Absolutely.
We only had about one per week, I think, in the last few weeks.
Yeah. If you have time, please do that. Even if you're quickly somewhere on holiday, do it. It's really nice for the community. And obviously we'll do it in the fluency sessions as well.
Practice. Well, if you're not doing the video, think of your story, your anecdote, have it sort of prepared in your mind. Because it might be difficult to make up, not make up because we're asking for real stories, but to think of the story in the moment in the live session. If you say, putting you into breakout groups and you've got to tell a story and you're like, maybe think about it, get it prepared in your mind, what story you want to tell, from which perspective.
Yep.
And then you're sort of prepared to tell that story in the Thursday session. No?
Yeah.
Even if you're not going to video yourself, at least think about it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Great. Alistair, thank you very much. Really, really great. And well, I think that's it for today. So hopefully everybody understands the challenge. We'll get kind of excited about that. And it's all about, as I say, as you were saying, Alistair, it's about telling that story. The fluency sessions will also give you that chance to practice that story and then come back to the main group and really develop your storytelling skills so that the story is interesting for the other people as well, right? So it's kind of like, that's the key thing that we want to, whether it's about something less serious, like this week is about traveling to a certain degree, but whatever story you're telling, you want to engage your audience. And I think that's the key thing that we want to achieve here, And
not make those basic errors like saying to go in a holiday, get the on. Don't confuse the travel. Don't say the travel, which are very easy to make, even if you know when you're actually telling your anecdote and you're concentrating on the content, what you want to say. Sometimes you just forget and you make those mistakes. So, try to avoid them.
Yeah. Perfect. Alistair, thank you very much. That's it for this week, and I'll see you again next week. All right.
Yeah. Bye.
Cheers. See you then. Bye.